It is called the Federal Data Hub. Massive amounts of information gathered on every American and shared between government agencies. Agencies ranging from the IRS to the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services. The best part here, there is no opting out. So who has access to all this information? And the bigger question, does private information even exist anymore? The first step toward truth is to be informed. There is, as we speak, an army of new federal government employees being hired by the Department of Health and Human Services. So why does HHS need all these new employees? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The massive new health care law, the Affordable Care Act, is behind schedule, and the feds need to start signing up Americans for health care exchanges as quickly as possible. So what kind of information is going to be collected? Well, when individuals sign up for federal insurance exchanges, they're required to enter their personal information into the new Federal Data Hub. We're talking about information like medical records, social security numbers, tax information, even bank account information. Now, this is done by allowing 7 different government agencies, including the IRS, Department of Justice, Social Security Administration, and others, to share and verify information in order to determine eligibility for an insurance subsidy. In short, basically everything about you will be shared among multiple agencies. But remember, no actual agency can see or access any information. People working in those agencies do. So who specifically will be able to access this information? They are called navigators, men and women who are being hired to work for between $20 and $48 per hour. Sounds like specialized work that would require highly trained individuals. Yeah, not so much. Because the requirements to become one of these navigators do not even include a high school diploma. And even though these navigators will have access to just about every piece of personal information on millions of Americans enrolled in the exchange, they are not even required to pass a background check. That is what the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform has been told by HHS. Navigators will only have to take a 20 to 30 hour online course about how the 1,200-page ACA works. That's right, just an online course. Now, interesting, there is another role these navigators have that deserves a mention. There's more to the role of the navigators than just signing Americans up for the healthcare exchange. Navigators will also be responsible for registering Americans to vote. According to People's World magazine in California, California's Secretary of State Deborah Bowen is designating the state's new health benefit exchange, Covered California, as a voter registration agency under the National Voter Registration Act. Well, that means Covered California will be incorporating voter registration into every transaction, online, in person, and by phone. So to be clear, these navigators will have access to every bit of your personal and financial information. Federal employees who haven't even been given so much as a background check. Of course, HHS says you have nothing to worry about. Marilyn Tavenner is the head of HHS's Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. She testified before Congress saying this, quote, "I want to assure you and all Americans that when they fill out their health insurance marketplace applications, they can trust the information they're providing is protected." But how would any American know that? Even if there were background checks, how can Americans trust that a federal data hub that involves the gathering and consolidation of so much information not be attacked by hackers or compromised by those inside the departments? We don't know what will happen, but we do have evidence of how some other expansive government agencies with even less intrusion into your life are functioning. An audit by the Government Accountability Office of the TSA, or the Transportation Security Administration, points out major problems in that agency, including TSA agents accused of taking bribes from drug traffickers in Los Angeles, or 56 cases alleging theft since 2010, including a 2011 incident involving a screener at the Orlando International Airport who pleaded guilty to stealing more than 80 laptops and other electronic devices, valued at $80,000. There were 426 cases of neglect of duty, 384 cases of ethical violations like bribery or credit card abuse, And then there are the agents who were caught sleeping on the job. But the biggest problem here isn't even the behavior of those agents. According to the GAO, half of the workers accused of sleeping on the job received less than the lowest penalty called for by agency policies. In all, the GAO found over 9,600 cases of misconduct in an agency that only has the power to allow you to get on an airplane. What you need to know is that when it comes to the National Data Hub, there is a bigger question here than just one of whether or not HHS navigators might be overstepping their role by registering voters with this personal information. A bigger question of whether or not the information compiled in the Data Hub is susceptible to fraud or corrupt workers. The most important question, does personal or private information exist anymore? Chances are the feds would say no. After all, we know the NSA believes they have the right to read your emails and listen to your phone calls. So why wouldn't they have the right to any and all of your private information, even your banking information? The federal apparatus that is nearly complete is telling you that you don't have the right to withhold anything about yourself and your life from government. But that is simply not true. The rights to privacy are all but gone in America today, but consider this. You do not belong to the state. Your money, your business, your private correspondence, and your conversations, your identity belongs to you and to you alone. Those in power know it, but the population has forgotten it. It's time that we remember. Well, now that you've been informed, it's time to get engaged. Go right now to benswann.com. There you're going to find the story where you can view it again, as well as the text of the story and the sources that we have used. Also, if you would like to help us create more episodes just like this one, you can do so by clicking on the Contribute tab on the right-hand side of the screen. benswann.com. Get engaged right now.